news about robot-assisted surgery. I think you guys have all probably read in the news about the robot-assisted surgery that was made for the cardiac patient who died. There's been quite a lot of news stories about injuries that have been caused by using robots, and there's potentially being in jail about potential deaths in robotic theatres. Now, the reason for that is we've got a complex system of surgeons and machinery requiring technical and non-technical skills. There are very, very few guidelines to mitigate risk, actually probably almost no guidelines in robotic urology surgery. And so the simulation was the ideal tool for us to actually create a guideline, but also prospectively analyze risk and try and reduce any kind of risk to patients in our theatres. So what we did was we got together a couple of years ago and we created a high fidelity point of care multidisciplinary cardiac arrest simulations in robotic theatres. So we followed a baseline simulation with some structured debriefing and training, which emphasized safety and hazard analysis. And the guideline that you'll see was also refined using the simulation. We then tested the guideline again a couple of times and had more modifications to pathways. We then followed up the simulation with an 8-month simulation, again with the exact same team to look at retention of skill. This took a lot of manpower, so there's trained observers monitoring the team performance, and we used a validated observational team assessment questionnaire, and we also measured times from cardiac arrest recognition with robot dedocking, CPR, and cardioversion. So this is a video that's it's about 10 minutes long, but we'll just flick through it quickly for you guys to see what we're doing. So as you can see, when they come in, the clinical team they've been told they're going to run a simulation, but we booked the theatres, and you can see it's a simulation patient. Is that okay? So this, as you can see, we start off with the setup. There's no volume on this for some reason. So we do a team brief. That is the simulation team standing in the background, read by Prasad and another one of the surgical colleagues. There's a couple of simulation fellows helping out as well. On the other side will be the team that's actually going to be doing the simulation. Yeah, just there's no volume, I don't know.
I can hear it.
That's okay. I mean, it's mainly for the fact, so as you can see, we're in the robotic theatre, we've got a mannequin that's all set up with ports. So when it comes down to doing the sim, the team docks the robot as they would with a patient, and then they carry on and do some manipulations that we can then see. When there's a cardiac arrest, we just have a look. You can just forward it, you'll see that Megan will, at the moment of cardiac arrest, we then time the minute they recognize the cardiac arrest to the robot being de-docked, and then the CPR starting, and then the DC cardioversion. I'm sorry there's no volume on this, but we'll just move on then. As you can see, so they have to do CPR. So it's all done in as much of real time as we can. We don't speed anything up during the simulation. We let them actually carry on as they normally would. Okay. So the simulations, as I said, was used to help Craig Linus basically, you did this algorithm on your own. He wrote the algorithm, but using the simulation, we kind of refined quite a bit of the algorithm. So you can see that in what we have now is what people will actually say when there's a cardiac arrest. So there's a verbal response at the time. So the kinesthetist has a clear-cut tools. They basically are told to say, this is an emergency, de-dock the robot now. And because the whole team is trained, when they hear that, they know exactly what they're going to do. And everyone then confirms according to what they're doing. The next slide shows you where everyone stands. So again, this is very clear as to what each member of the team is doing and what they're expected to do at a time of cardiac arrest. So the template guideline we successfully modified, and we've basically got a specific tool for this department, because obviously the positioning of people depends on what your theatres look like. The simulations we found correlated with improvements in time to interventions, and the OTAS scoring is improved for the surgical and the anaesthetic team. So if you look at time to specific interventions, before we had a baseline, this is in seconds. So at baseline, you've got 40 seconds for dedocking, 101 seconds to CPR, and 302 seconds as baseline before any training was done. After training, we get down to 25 seconds for dedocking, 48 seconds to CPR, and quite a big jump to cardioversion, so from 302 seconds to 86 seconds. Retention at 8 months is pretty good. We've got 40 seconds at dedocking, 69 seconds at CPR, and 189 seconds to cardioversion. So this was quite a novel approach to designing guidelines using simulation iteratively to test the guideline. By repeating the simulations, we were identifying latent risks, and we addressed them to mitigate any kind of further impact. This helped us clearly develop the guideline for this local environment and hopefully continue training. All the simulation correlated with improvements in team performance and with a significant reduction in time and delay to the interventions that were required. We will be testing everyone again at yearly intervals because we found that the retention scoring was pretty good. So I don't think you'd need to do a simulation every 6 months, but I think about 1 year is pretty much what most research suggests, that you do need to do this training to retain training. And that's it. Sorry about the video.
Any questions for Brennan about the crisis simulation? I have a question. So you repeated it at 8 months, and all the times they were still good, but they were worse than.
Okay. Oh, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
is repeating this on a yearly schedule a good idea, or should
Absolutely.
repeating it on a 6 months?
In an ideal world, I think what will happen is if you do it every 6, I think it's because it was the first time. So once you guys are used to it, most simulation training, it suggests that 1 year is enough. But what we'd like to do is have a look and see how we go. But considering you have to shut down an entire theatre for the morning, it's going to be very difficult to convince the trust for us to do that every 6 months. So I think you have to balance it between training and trust needs, because you did have to shut the theatre down for the whole morning, and that's a list there. And how many do you run?
Well, it's just one. Well, if it's a Thursday, 3.
So that's a lot of people to train and a lot of lists to shut down every 6 months.
Great. Thank you very much.
Last talk.